welcome to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him at gods5minutes@gmail.com. Now, here's Ed Wilson with God's 5 Minutes.
Hello, friends. One of the sacrifices commanded by God in the Old Testament was a sacrifice of thanksgiving. That command was underlined with these words from the 50th Psalm, "Offer unto God in thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me." Salvation cannot be bought by money, for not all have it, and God is a lover of the poor as well as the rich. And neither can good works guarantee our entrance into heaven, for good works can be performed by a selfish heart. Instead, let us offer God thanksgiving. Let us not look at sacrifices as in themselves gifts pleasing to God, but present them as attributes of your gratitude. Then He will accept them. But not if our souls have no love and no thankfulness to offer. The sacrifices, as considered in themselves, are condemned, but the heart emotions of love caused by remembering divine goodness are commanded as the substance, meaning, and soul of sacrifice. Even when the legal ceremonials were not abolished, this was true, and when they came to an end, this truth was more than ever made manifest. Not for want of bullocks on the altar was Israel blamed, but for want of thankful adoration before the Lord. She excelled in the visible, but in the inward grace, which is the one thing needful, she sadly failed. Too many times in these days are in the same condemnation. Perhaps the greatest part of Thanksgiving sacrifice, certainly coupled with it, is a command, "Pay thy vows unto the Most High." Let the sacrifice be really presented to the God who sees the heart. Pay to Him the love you promised, the service you covenanted to render, the loyalty of heart you vowed to maintain. It is common and deadly for souls in some hour of desperate need to try to bargain with the Lord for deliverance and mercy, only to forget the covenant as soon as the danger is past. Those who live in this manner have the promise, "And call upon me in the day of trouble." Notice how this promise is linked to the thanksgiving sacrifice. Is it an offering to ask help of heaven? It is even so. The King Himself so regards it. For herein is faith manifested, herein is love proved. For in the hour of peril we fly to those we love. It seems an obvious thing to pray to God when we are distressed, yet is it a more acceptable worship than the mere heartless presentation of bullocks and goats, of forms and rituals. It is a voice from the throne, and how full of mercy it is. It is very tempestuous round about Jehovah, and yet what soft drops of mercy's rain fall from the bosom of the storm. Who would not offer such sacrifices? Troubled one, haste to present it now. You shall say that Old Testament saints did not know the gospel. Its very spirit and essence breathes like incense all around this holy psalm. I will deliver thee. The reality of thy sacrifice of prayer shall be seen in its answer. Whether the smoke of burning bowls be sweet to me or no, certainly thy humble prayer shall be, and I will prove it so by my gracious reply to thy supplication. This promise is very large, and may refer both to temporal or eternal deliverances. Faith can turn it every way, like the sword of the cherubim. Thou shalt glorify me, thy prayer will honor me, and thy grateful perception of my answering mercy will also glorify me. The goats and bullocks would prove a failure, but the true sacrifice never could. The calves of the stall might be a vain oblation, but not the calves of sincere lips. Thus we see what is true ritual. Here are inspired rubrics. Spiritual worship is the essential matter. All else without it is rather provoking than pleasing to God. As helps to the soul, outward offerings were precious, but when people went not beyond them, even their hallowed things were profaned in the view of heaven. Call upon me, and so forth. Prayer is like the ring which Queen Elizabeth gave to the Earl of Essex, bidding him, if he were ever in distress, send that ring to her, and she would help him. God tells His people, if you're in any perplexity, send this ring to me. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee. Have you talked to Him today?
You have been listening to God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson. Reach him by email at godsfiveminutes@gmail.com. Tune in next time to hear more encouraging thoughts from God's Word on God's 5 Minutes with Pastor Ed Wilson.